Welcome friends, this is your tech expert Neil and you are watching howisolve.com. Among the thousands of Linux distributions, Elementary OS stands out. But is it one of the most elegant and well-designed Linux distribution on the planet as quoted by Jack Wallen from linux.com? Let us check that out. In this review, we will cover in depth about each default applications. And for those people who are interested in particular applications, we have a video index down in the video description. You can check that out to skip to that part of the video which you are interested in. So with that, let us continue with this review. Elementary OS promises to keep the configuration at the least and instead focus on immediate usability with less effort to learn, a goal which diverges from what most GNU Linux distributions offer, that is, a freedom to set up and customize one's own desktop environment. As you can see, I've installed it on a virtual machine. It's the latest version 0.4 and it is based on Ubuntu 16.04 LTS. It uses its own desktop environment called Pantheon, which has got several similarities with GNOME and macOS. Since Elementary OS is based on Ubuntu, any application that works on Ubuntu should work with Elementary OS. The desktop looks very clean and simple with the dock at the bottom and a panel at the top. You might find the overall layout looking very similar to Mac desktop. The dock, like in the Mac, provides easy and quick access to your favorite applications or running applications. You can alter the programs present in the dock and change its order by simply dragging and dropping. Like to add a program, we can drag it from the application menu and then just drop it in the dock, as simple as that. To remove a program, just drag the application from the dock and then hover it on an empty area on the desktop, and with that cool animation it gets removed from the dock. Like the Mac, the dock indicates an open application by showing a blue dot below it. You can also access some commonly used features of an application by just right clicking on the icon in the dock. Like for the file application, we have got new window administrator, and for the browser there is new incognito window. The dock auto hides whenever it is obstructing an application window. This feature increases the screen real estate for an application and is quite useful, but there are some limitations. Like the drag and drop feature is not presently integrated with the file application like it is in the Mac OS, and you cannot dock the trash can as it is possible in Mac. Also, the dock doesn't have the file application dock by default, which I feel should be the default configuration, since for most people the file application would be the most used application and would be easier for anyone to access it from the dock itself. The panel at the left side has got all the applications that are currently installed listed. It is by default based on the application categories like accessories, graphics, internet, office. This allows easy access to all the applications. But you can always switch from this view to all application view by clicking on this over here, and now as you can see, you can view all the applications very cleanly. It has been displayed in a tabular manner. You can change the page by clicking on these two dots. The application menu might look quite simple, but it is packed in with a lot of features. The shortcut key to launch the application from the keyboard is Command Paste. For a Windows machine, it would be the Windows icon and space. It is quite similar to Mac OS Launchpad. This search feature not only covers application but also allows you to search for specific application actions. Like if I type mail, then it also allows us to access the application action about mail. Not only that, you can also do basic calculations similar to what Google search allows, and this search also acts like an browser address bar. So if you want to open a particular website, just type the address and it will open up in your default web browser like that. But there is one limitation to this search feature. Unlike Mac OS Spotlight search or Windows search, this search feature doesn't cover the files. I think this feature could be a great addition in a future release. Next to the application in the center, you'll find the date and time icon. On clicking on that, it will reveal a miniature calendar. This feature is quite useful if you are planning some event. You can click on the date and the calendar app opens up. This calendar app is quite useful, but it requires significant amount of polishing. When we tested this out, there were quite a lot of bugs in it. When we clicked on a particular date, it should have opened the calendar app with that particular date selected. But in this case, it has opened some arbitrary September. Clicking on the plus button over here allows you to add an event reminder. So in this, there is a hidden feature. So if suppose you type in meeting with Ember tomorrow and then you hit enter, what it does is it does some basic natural language processing and it identifies what we meant, and it then pre-fills the date and time accordingly. Title got renamed to meeting and the date got automatically selected to tomorrow's, that is February the 7th. After doing that, you can click on create event. That would create an event in our calendar. So let us check that out. There's also one thing I don't like about this calendar app is this navigation. It doesn't allow us to quickly go to a particular month or year. We have to go one by one. So I think that could be a good UI improvement in the later version anyway. See, there's one more bug. We created the event for 7th, but it is showing it in the 6th over here in the calendar app. But if you select the 7th, it will show it in here in 7th. So I don't know what is happening, but yes, for making any serious use of this application certainly requires a lot of bug fixing. Anyway, so this is the calendar app. All applications open in a window. Unlike the Mac, the toolbars of the window are in the application itself and not on the top panel. The maximize button is towards the right over here, and the close button is towards corner over here. Currently in Elementary there is no minimize button specifically, but if you right click on the top toolbar, then you will see the option to minimize. You can also minimize the application using the dock by clicking on the application, and then the application will minimize, similar to what Mac allows. Switching between windows is quite simple in Elementary OS. Like suppose if I have got two applications open, so I can switch using pressing the keyboard shortcut Alt Tab, or you can use obviously the dock to do that, or you can use the Command and W key. For Windows system, it would be the Windows key and the W key, and then it shows you all the application windows opened across the desktop. Also similar to Mac and Windows, Elementary OS support side-by-side viewing of application. So if you want to view two windows simultaneously, you can drag it to one side and it will automatically resize it. The window snapping feature could have been much better if it provided some feedback to the user that window snapping is enabled. Also, one more limitation is currently it only supports two windows at a time. Unlike Windows, it allows you to snap 4 windows at a time. Towards the right hand corner, we have got several indicators, like for volume, this is for network, this is for the battery, and this is for notification, and in the rightmost corner there is this power off button. When you click on any of them, it reveals further options, which I like very much. This in-depth integration with the default application can be very useful. Like you can change the music currently being played directly by clicking on this sound icon, and then you can change it from here itself instead of opening it and then changing. This feature is quite convenient. Similarly in wired battery, you can toggle the show percentage option. It will show a percentage. Notifications, you can enable a do not disturb mode if you do not want to see any notification. The power off button allows you to change the user, and you can log in, log out, lock your screen, and suspend or shut down the system. If you have got Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, since this is a virtual machine, the hardware doesn't have those two indicators. But if you have got Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, then those two will also appear in this indicators icon. Now let us see the screenshot application that comes by default with Elementary OS. It's quite simple. It allows you to capture the screen of your system, and it allows you to do that in 3 modes. That is, if you want the whole screen, then you can select this whole screen mode. If you want just the current window, that is the active window, then you can enable this, and then only the currently selected window will get captured in your screenshot. Or you can define a customized area that you want to capture. One cool feature that I like very much is this conceal text feature. When you enable this, what happens is all the text in that particular screenshot becomes illegible. It replaces the font. Like suppose I select this area, and as you saw in the entire screenshot, the fonts changed to an illegible font, and this feature is quite useful if you have got data that is confidential and you don't want to reveal that in your screenshot. Quite simple, useful application, very easy to learn, like all the applications that are bundled by default in Elementary OS. Now let us look at the system settings app. This is something like the control panel for Windows. Basically the application, this allows you to select your default application and you can see what all applications are enabled for startup. The navigation is quite simple also. The desktop allows you to change the wallpapers. Like the Elementary has got quite good wallpapers by default. You can also change the dock settings from over here. You can change the icon size and the way the dock behaves when a window is overlapping it. So at present I have selected any window overlaps, the dock would hide. But you can change it depending on your custom requirement. There is also a hot corners feature which allows you to add a shortcut, and that would enable whenever your cursor enters the four corners of the display. So like if I will add the multitasking view. Like Windows and Mac, Elementary OS also supports multiple desktop environments. Like you can add a new desktop by clicking on this plus icon like that to go back to the previous. Either you can use the shortcut that we just now created, or from the dock you can click on this multitasking view. Quite simple and easy to use. Let's move on. Notifications. Using this notification setting, you can control what all applications have the permissions to show notifications. So if a particular application is bugging you too much, you can turn off this notification, similar to what Android has got, Android or iOS for that matter. So there are three kinds of notifications in Elementary OS. There are bubble, sound and notification center. You can toggle each of the three notifications individually for all the applications. This one important feature is the parental control. This is the latest addition to Elementary OS Loki. Using this, you can limit the features of the Elementary OS by time or what all applications a particular user has access to. So for that, you have to have an administrator account. In the power option, the new addition to Loki is the lid close setting, which makes it easier for you to use your laptop as a desktop computer. When you connect your laptop to an external display, it will keep working even when the lid is closed. But when you unplug it from the display, it will sleep on lid close. There is now also a setting to enable ambient light sensing if it is supported by your hardware. In the network, compared to Freya, you will find the new redesigned network settings more straightforward and informative. At the same time, Elementary OS has added support for wired and wireless connection, hotspots, proxies and VPNs out of the box. The online accounts allows you to sync your particular email account or Last.fm or Fastmail account. Like Windows, this sharing feature allows you to share your music or video or photos directory using the DLNA technology. So any device that supports DLNA sharing, you can share your media with that device. The About section states the current version of your operating system, and at the bottom there is an option to check for updates. By default, updates are checked automatically, but if you want to manually trigger an update check, then you can trigger it from here. So when you click it, the new revamped App Store opens up. This App Store is quite simple and very beautiful looking, and again this should have opened the updates tab, but anyway you can open it from here, and as you can see it's showing me 3 updates, and you can update them by just clicking on this update all button. I'll do that. It will ask for administrator password. Now it's downloading and updating that. When I was using this system for the past 1 week, I found that it got updates quite frequently. This might be because there must be some bugs that required fixing. Okay, I'll let it update up, and then again we'll cover all remaining setting options. In the universal access feature, you can change several look and feel settings to make it easier for people to use the system. So like you can toggle on and off the animations. In display, you can enable a high contrast theme, and you can increase the text size. Similarly, you can change the settings for audio, typing, keyboard pointing. One thing that I would like to point out, if you've got a Retina screen, it would be a problem to use your default screen resolution in Elementary OS. If you use the system in Elementary OS with your default screen resolution, the font and the icons won't scale properly and it will look quite small. For that, at present, the only option is you can increase the text size and you can increase the dock icon size. That is the only option for high DPI screens. Now let us lock the screen. Like Windows, the shortcut key is Windows L or Command L if you have got a Mac. Here's the lock screen for Elementary OS, and as you can see, it's quite beautiful. Default wallpaper shows up, and on the right side there's the time and calendar. On the top you can see a couple of indicators. Here there is a bug that I feel, because if you click on this, changes the account, that is fine, but if you click on the avatar or the profile picture, then nothing happens. I feel that this should trigger when you click on the profile picture, because here there is nothing and it's triggering. So it's very, at first when I used it, I struggled to change the user account, because when I tapped on here, nothing was happening. So yes, this is one more bug. Anyway, now we'll log in. Now let us look at the web browser, which for most of you would be the major application that you would be using. I'll open up it in a new window. So the default web browser that is packed in with Elementary OS is Epiphany. This browser uses the same WebKit core as that of Apple Safari. You can use it for your daily web surfing needs. It provides a tabbed interface, which currently has become an industry standard. It's quite simple. There are not much features packed in by default. I think that's done on purpose to make it easier to learn. Opening multiple tabs is also quite simple. You just have to click on this plus icon over here. Also, like Chrome, it supports a default home screen which allows you to see the commonly used site. The settings can be accessed by clicking on this gear icon over here and then clicking on preferences. As you can see, there are not many settings that you can change, but one setting that I like very much is it by default allows you to block advertise. So it has got an inbuilt ad blocker. If you uncheck this allow advertisement, most of the ads would disappear. But with that, there are several limitations to this browser, like it doesn't support any plugin or extensions like Chrome. So if you are someone who is looking for a particular plugin, then this browser is certainly not for you. It also doesn't support syncing of settings. So like Chrome and Mozilla Firefox allows your settings to be synced with the account in the cloud. There's no such feature available in this browser. But you can always download Firefox or Chromium from the App Store, since both these two versions are open source and it has got a Ubuntu release. That should not be a problem. You can change the default browser. Next feature that we'll look is the music app here. The music app has got basic features like you can create playlists. You can also change the play settings from repeat and shuffle. You can also create customized playlists, like if you click on this plus icon at the bottom over here and create a smart playlist. So over here you can create playlists based on several rules like the album, artist, bitrate. This is quite useful, but I tried one of them. I created a smart playlist of short song, but unfortunately this feature didn't work. I wanted all the songs that were lesser than 2 minutes, but it wasn't able to get those songs. As you can see, there are a couple of songs which are less than 2 minutes, but it didn't detect it. You can also change the view of the songs, like a list or icon or a hierarchical view, which I like. So if you want just all the songs of a particular genre, you can select that genre and only those songs of that particular genre would be visible. You can filter it by album or artist. So this view I like very well. There is some bug currently in the notifications, because as soon as the song finishes, I should receive a notification. At present, I don't receive the pop-up notification. This feature was working for like 2-3 days back, but at present, whenever the pop notification comes, a black screen appears. Now let's look at the terminal application. The terminal is quite, I like the black translucent appearance, and it also allows tabbing. Like if you want to add one more, you can click over here, and out of the box it supports copy paste with normal shortcuts. Like if you wanted to copy, you can select it and then you can paste it over here. Now let's look at the files application, which is like the Finder for Mac OS. And as you can see, there are different views similar to what music application has. List view and small icon view. You can also view it in a hierarchical manner, similar to what Mac allows. Like suppose if you have got long hierarchy of directories, you can browse through them like that. Very similar to what Mac Finder allows you to do. And one thing that I like very much is about this address bar. You can click on the icons over here and you can go to that particular folder. Like you can go to the root directory by clicking over here, or you can go to temp directory by clicking over here. So this is quite useful. But not only that, you can click over here and it will convert into a copyable text format. Quite useful. And also it is integrated with the terminal application. So if you want to open this particular folder in the terminal, just right click, open with terminal. The mail client is also quite simple and elegant. As you can see, you can create a new mail by clicking on this icon. This pop-ups comes up. You can preview the email side by side. This makes it very easy to check your email. Several options like trash can, basic. This is a quite basic email client and very easy to learn. Nothing much fancy over here. You can also run a search, like if I want to search only for Amazon email, so like that. Quite easy to use and very well designed email client, I must say. There is also a videos app, and when you open it up, it will ask you for which folder you want to open. So I'll just browse my library. This is a basic video player kind of application. It by default shows all the videos that are present in the default directory, that is your videos folder. So for test purpose, I've got my couple of videos. So yeah, nothing much fancy again. Simple video player with a library. The photos application has got a significant amount of retouching and has improved a lot. If you look at over the right hand side, and all this information is displayed very clearly and in a very beautiful manner, like the aperture, focal length, exposure, ISO. So if you are a professional photographer, this application can be very useful for you. Not only it shows the camera details and the camera model number, if the location details are also present in the photo, then it also shows where this particular photo was shot. Like for example, this photo, it's showing that it was shot over here. So yes, this is quite useful. It also has some basic editing features, like automatic photo repair. You can also change the exposure, saturation, tint. Quite a lot of editing features out there. You can also eliminate red eye, straighten the photo, crop it, rotate it. You can use it for slideshow also. You can change the animation circle. I can change it to clock. Yes, quite good, well-designed photo application. With a core team of just 9 members, led by Daniel, Elementary OS has shown what a dedicated team can achieve with the support of the open source community. To conclude, we believe the Elementary OS design philosophy of keeping only the features and functionality that matter the most to improve user experience has worked wonders. If you are someone who is looking for a clean, good-looking and easy to learn Linux distribution, Elementary OS is for you. But keep in mind, it is still at 0.4, which technically means it is a work in progress. Use it as a editor only if you don't mind glitches and the bugs. Hope you like this video, and if yes, spread the love, share, like, comment. We at howitsound.com are passionate about technology and love helping others. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get similar videos on latest technology updates, tutorials, tips and tricks, troubleshooting guides, and much more. Thanks for watching, friends. See you later. Bye.